Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So, I want to make a quick video today talking about some undervalued AI projects, specifically projects that are underneath the Bittensor ecosystem umbrella, that are subnet projects and or just somewhat related to Bittensor. The reason why is because Bittensor is one of the #1 AI projects, right now in the entire space. It is primed to break out somewhat soon, go on an absolute tear, and I think a lot of the projects underneath Bittensor that are fairly low in market cap have a ton of growth, probably way more than Bittensor does in the short term as far as gains. So let's get into a couple lower cap Bittensor eco projects. So I'm going to cover a bunch here. So number one, let's cover chat. Vector Chat AI. This one is probably one of my favorite projects currently in the space as far as, that fits a good narrative, combination of different things. This is very strong. So this has been out now for literally almost a year. Team is doxed. They have been building for a long time. And with Vector Chat, most of the supply is currently circulating. I think it's maybe 70 something percent circulating supply, which is really good as well. But let's cover what Vector Chat does. I have this site up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna do a full out deep dive, talk about it for 10 minutes, but keep it short and simple. There are a couple of things that Vector Chat focuses on, including chunking, which is kind of a way to optimize, data, and also Toffee here, which is kind of their conversational AI. Has to do with almost similar with like AI agents. It's a pretty interesting platform. Seems like it's going to be something pretty good. But I think as an overall beta play to Bittensor, I think this is probably one of the strongest that I've seen. So that is Vector Chat. I've held this one. I do hold it. Full disclosure, I've held it for a while, and I will continue to hold it because, like I said, I think when Bittensor finally does really break out, I think it's going to go on. It's going to have a ton of God candles. It's going to go on a huge rally. But I think at that point, a little bit after that, we're going to see a lot of these coins underneath Bittensor's umbrella that most people may not have even heard before just start to go ballistic. So Vector Chat is probably one of my favorites, one of my top picks within, the subnet projects. So I'm going to cover a couple other ones here. So another one is actually Sturdy Finance, which this one is somewhat interesting. Looks like it's almost at all-time highs, or it's kind of been running into all-time highs. I would definitely not say it's in any sort of buy range, unless you're playing it from the perspective at 20 million is not that heavy, or not too big of a market cap, and you're aiming to see it hit 100, 200 million. If you're looking for major X's like that, but from a chart perspective, short term, definitely looks like it's gone up a lot. I would wait for some sort of pullback, but Sturdy overall is kind of an interesting project here. What is this sitting at? I just said 22 million, right? 22.7. So the only thing about it is the circulating is tiny. Tokenomics, I question a lot in the sense of just why the circulating is so small in comparison. So this is something you definitely got to keep in mind with Sturdy Finance here. But, overall, kind of an interesting project. I just wanted to pull this up mainly for informational purposes, guys. Just so you know a bunch of different, Bittensor subnet projects that are out. So another one here I want to cover is actually AIUS, RBS. This one I think is actually a really innovative. Let's go to Twitter as well. So RBS kind of focuses within the realm of AI agents, kind of a killer combo with, AI agents with Bittensor Eco. It's not like a pump fun type platform like, Virtuals is, but they kind of focus, with AI agents in doing different things as well. But very interesting project nonetheless as well. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the stuff that this project does, talk about, and some of the infrastructure, even for me, after looking into it for a long time, some of it is somewhat hard for me to wrap my head around. Because, guys, a lot of these AI projects, a lot of them go very, very deep with, a lot of their utility. And especially someone like me, I'm not fully, all in, AI as in, I'm a developer, I've been building, I know all these AI terms and stuff like that. Over the, a couple of years, I've been learning a lot, but, when it gets this complex when it comes to AI, there's some things that, even me, I can look into it, try to understand, still fairly complex, But overall, from an investment perspective for this, I think it is a great narrative. Chart was completely bottomed out because they did have some tokenomics issues. I'm pretty sure that they fixed them though. Kind of bottomed out, had a nice pump. I would potentially be looking for an entry if it can dip somewhat back around into that range, maybe a little bit above it. And it could be one to focus on, again, just as a Bittensor beta play. This would probably bring it down to what, maybe 15, no, not even 15, 12 million maybe down here. So that could be something to pay attention to as well. So another one here I want to pull up is Neural. So shout out to Crypto Millie. I've seen him talking about this project for a long time. Personally, I did not enter this. This is one I've been watching from the sidelines, and obviously should have been entered in this one, but overall a very, very strong AI project. You can't deny when a chart looks like this, when a project has been killing it for months, on and off, just up only, the strength is there. I don't know what this chart is doing though. There it is. But yeah, strength is definitely there. Looks like it definitely might need a pullback somewhat soon. Not even a pullback, maybe a decent sized correction. Because a lot of people consider a pullback, this. To me, that's a pullback. This is a pullback. That's a pullback. A correction, how I quote it, is when a project really breaks its trend from a higher time frame and ends up pulling a major move. Not like that, but like this. This is a dip. This is a dip. This is a correction. That is a correction. That's a correction, right? I think it needs a heavy correction, at least for me personally, to even look to then enter it. But as of right now, that is Neural. Neural is, it focuses on kind of 3D assets. Generate 3D assets, create fully realized 3D worlds. So this is kind of a first mover. It's been a first mover. Very powerful project, though. Going forward, I think it's still got a lot of growth. But like I said, I definitely would be looking for some sort of dip. So another one, too, that I am very bullish on, even still, even though for months this has been sitting flat, has not really done too much overall, is SETI. So SETI is an AI infrastructure project. They have a ton of GPUs, tens of millions of dollars in GPUs. They have physical location. But yeah, I think their market cap of their entire project is actually smaller than what all of their GPUs are literally worth, which is nuts to me. But also a docs team, very active. Don't quote me on it, but I think the developers of SETI, I don't know if they worked on Bittensor in the past, or if they are currently employed and also working for both projects at the moment. But then also, so I think it's one or two of the SETI devs are also developers within Roko. If you guys are familiar with, Roko, which is another project I've brought up here before. Kind of like a robotics type AI play, very interesting one, which I'm going to be able to bring that up too, because that is also that is going to be another Bittensor ecosystem project potentially. I don't think it's 100% yet, but potentially might be. But this is SETI. I think it's a powerhouse of an AI project. And same thing. I think most of these projects that are underneath the Bittensor umbrella, if we just see Bittensor go on a tear, I think a lot of these are going to pick up a ton of steam. I have a feeling that Bittensor ecosystem projects is going to become a narrative. So that's kind of why I've been focusing on these for a long time. Just keeping my eye on them, paying attention to them, and just holding a lot of them too, right? So that is SETI. So yeah, Roku I'll bring up real quick. But same thing. This one I don't think is an official subnet yet, but I've seen that they are in talks of actually, getting one. Roku is now sitting at 13 million. So starting to move a little bit over the last month or so, especially from when I first mentioned it. But Roku is a very interesting robotics type project. Self-organizing human-machine network. It serves as a potent research and development platform, or playground. I can't even talk. But yeah, they basically are working on physical infrastructure / physical robots. That's something they're building. They're also working on an AI infrastructure layer, to actually communicate within, different robots, stuff like that. And they also do have a physical, I think they call it an egg or something on their Twitter. I don't know exactly what it does, but really interesting, I have to say. But I feel like with this project, the way that they operate is it's almost like very low key. It kind of just seems like they're not really trying to build in public. They want everyone to be on their toes. But like even right here, they are partnered with Point Blank LLC, and I think this other, whether it's it's not a project, but this company that they're partnered with, they are actually the ones building the robots, or a robot at least to test. But very very low key project, if you were to put it. But obviously had an on and off run, all the way in 2024 early, came back down heavy in the middle of this bull run, the bear run for alts, right? But starting to come back up, looking pretty good. But that's Roku. I'm trying to think if there are any more, because there were a couple that I brought up. But I think there is one more that I want to bring up. This one, we got Taobot. So this one I also have brought up on the channel before. This one I feel like is somewhat known. This is a pretty clear, simple Bittensor beta play. This chart looks very good. It kind of looks like the SETI chart, but obviously this I feel like is more bullish. It's kind of just going up a little bit. But Taobot is definitely another Bittensor eco play. Aimed to be the all-in-one Telegram bot for Bittensor. Unified trading and interaction terminal. It's like, a lot of these projects too, you got to keep in mind they are high risk. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research on these, but something like this, it's kind of interesting. But at the end of the day, it's kind of just a Telegram bot. There's nothing crazy about it, right? So a lot of these projects you would just be jumping into, potentially to ride the wave of the Bittensor pump, or some of them, something like Vector Chat, you're really jumping into for what they're building, their fundamentals, and because they've been grinding for a long time. So it depends on what you're playing. This potential pump coming within altcoins over the next couple months here. But outside of that, that's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video today, guys. Just show you a little bit of what's going on with some of these Bittensor beta plays. There are so many more, honestly. but a lot of them are definitely a lot more high risk, and some of them do look almost undeveloped. They're underdeveloped at the moment. I say some of these are probably the best ones. And like I said, I think vector chat AI is easily one of my favorites going forward. But outside of that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.